G'day guys, welcome to my Wise feature video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about NRL Round 9 predictions for 2021 guys, so let's get started. So starting off with this first game of this match, we see the Rabbitohs going up against the Storm. Now, in this game, what I do predict in this match, it will be a very hard game. Obviously, no Adam Reynolds, which that means Stephen Masters will be into that side, which that means also too, I think Dane Gagai will be also playing in the number 3 jersey, if I believe, in the centres. No Campbell Graham also too. He's also injured. Because apparently Adam Reynolds is got a thumb injury, which he sees, which he probably is going to play, but it's highly unlikely that he will. But for the Melbourne Storm, no injuries there. Nico Hines still in the number 1 jersey for that squad, which Ryan Pappenhausen is still injured and won't be playing this week. I just think this game will be a very hard game. Obviously, because Alex Johnston will be number 1, which that means I think still Cody Walker will be number 6 in that 5'8" position, which that also means to, I think, like Cameron Munster, since last week he didn't really kick as well. I reckon he didn't really pay attention in that game. But in this game, I'm going to go with the Rabbitohs on this one, and I'm going to probably have a look at an upset in that game. I reckon it'll be 30 points to 20 in that match. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Rabbitohs by 10 points, and I just think in this game, I reckon it'll be an upset, and I reckon that Storm won't win this game. But it's highly unlikely that the Rabbitohs will win, but this game's going to be a real hard game, and it's just going to be a sellout, packed out crowd anyway. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Rabbitohs by 10 points, 30 points to 20 for that scoreline. The next game of that match, we see the Panthers going up against the Sharks. Now, in this game, what I do think about this match, like the Sharks haven't been really inconsistent. They haven't really proven to me that they are in a top 8 side. Like, they are a really good team, but I just don't see the potential of them being in that top 8 side. They're really consistent sometimes, but without like Chad Townsend, they're not inconsistent. Like, they're not a good quality team. They are struggling so much with a couple of players out, but there is no Braden Hamlin-Uele, which that means Aiden Tolman will be coming in for that number 8 jersey for that side for the Sharks. I'm not too sure about Braden Hamlin-Uele, if he is injured or not. But I just think the Panthers, since they've won that 8 winning streak, I just have a gut feeling that they will win again. Last time I had a look, Sharks were $7 and the Panthers were $1.10. So that tells me that the Panthers will definitely win in that game. I just have a gut feeling that it will be a high-scoring game, only because that the Sharks are just not a top 8 side in my opinion. I just don't think that they will improve this season, only because they've got injuries and like a couple of other players out. I just don't think that in this game it will be a very tight game, but I just hate to see the Panthers struggle in this game, only because they've got an 8 winning streak for their season, and obviously it will be the 9th of their season for their 9th winning streak in that game. So in my opinion about this match, I'm going to go with the Panthers in this one, and I'm going to go with the Panthers by 22 points. And my scoreline, my prediction in this game, I'm going to go with 34 to 18 in that game, and I just have a gut feeling that the Sharks won't do as well, and they will struggle in that game. The next game of that match, we see the Eels going up against the Roosters. Now, in that game, the Roosters, since I got to say this. No, Brett Morris, he's out for the season now. I'm not too sure if he will come back next year or he's out completely. I'm not too sure about that one. He's done his ACL, so that means for you guys that want to know why Brett Morris is out, he's hurt his ACL. But that doesn't mean the Roosters aren't really consistent. They are really good in that team. Because Sam Walker last week was absolutely phenomenal, setting up tries, kicking goals, absolutely great guy, absolutely great player. I just have a gut feeling in this game that the Roosters will fire up in that match. But for the Eels, though, since they're sitting on second position, this game's going to be another hard game anyway. I just hate to see that the Eels will really struggle in that game, but it's not that highly likely in that match because the Eels have been really consistent lately. They only lost one game in that match, in the other match, sorry. But in that game, sees the Eels still no change made in that team. I just have a gut feeling in that match that the Eels will be very electrifying in that game. They'll put so many points on the Roosters, but there's still no Brett Morris, so that means Matt Iguavalu will be replacing him in that number 5 jersey, which that means that still Josh Morris in number 3, which that means Joseph Manu will be number 4. I reckon, though, I think James Tedesco is number 1, which he had a concussion last week, but that means he will be playing for that side. I just have a gut feeling, though, that Joseph Suwali won't be playing this game at all. He is a really good player, but I haven't seen him play at all. So in this game, I'm going to go with the Parramatta Eels in this one, and I'm going to go with them by 10 points. I think this game will be a very hard game, but I reckon the Eels will score a couple more points to reveal that they will win against the Roosters. But that scoreline in my prediction, I'm going to go with 20 points to 10 in that game anyway. The next game of that match, we see the Raiders going up against the Newcastle Knights. Now, the Knights were absolutely shocking last week. They only scored 1 try in that game, which that means Braden Musgrove was the only player that basically scored in that game last week. I just have a gut feeling that the Newcastle Knights won't do that job properly. But they've been terrible. But what I'm trying to say is, though, they haven't still got Mitchell Pearce. He is out due to a pec injury. If you know what a pec means, it's a little pec like right there. So that means he's torn his pec, so that means he will be out for a couple of weeks. But after that, when he will come back, I reckon they'll really get the job done in the upcoming season. But in this game, going up against the Raiders have been absolutely electrifying. But the Raiders, though, they haven't really been inconsistent. But they have lost George Williams, which that means I'm not too sure who will be number 7, but I know number 9 will be Tom Starling, which that means there will be no Josh Hodgson. I'm not too sure if he's injured or not injured. He might be dropped or something like that. But also too, no Ryan James, but he is jumped to reserves, which that means Josh Papali will be number 8 jersey in that squad, in that team. I just have a gut feeling in this game that it will be a very pressured game. And I can't think about this because the Raiders have been alright, but sometimes they've been inconsistent. But I reckon in this game, going up against the Newcastle Knights, I just don't see the Raiders losing in this game. They will put pressure on the Newcastle Knights. I just don't think that the Newcastle Knights will win this. So I'm going to go with the Raiders in this one. I'm going to go with them by 14 points in that game. I just reckon they will be on top of their form. So in that game, I'm going to go with my prediction, 24 points to 10 in that match. And I reckon the Newcastle Knights will struggle in that game anyway. The next game of that match, we see the West Tigers going up against the Titans. Now, the Gold Coast Titans have been really good lately. Last week, going up against the Broncos, they were absolutely phenomenal in the first half. But in the second half, I don't know how the hell the Broncos came out on top to win that game anyway. that match was absolutely spectacular from the Broncos, but the Titans, they were absolutely correct, electrifying. They've still got really good players out there. I just have a gut feeling that the Gold Coast Titans will really aim up in this game, going up against the West Tigers. This game, I reckon the West Tigers will really aim up in that match. But since they've just won against the Dragons last week, 16 points to 8, I just don't think it will be a high-scoring game. I reckon it will be a very average-scoring game. I don't think it will be a high-scoring game because the Titans haven't been really electrifying lately. I know they've got really good players. I reckon AJ Brimson will have a really good match in this game, but so be it. The Titans have been really good so far. They've aimed up in that match last week against the Broncos in the first half. But David Fafita has been really good for their club. Absolutely really good player. I just think he'll have a great game in that match, so I reckon he'll score 2 tries in that game. I have a gut feeling that AJ Brimson will only score 1 try, but I reckon penalty goal will seal the deal in that game. So in that match, I'm going to go with the Titans in this one. I'm going to go with them by 12 points in that game. I just have a gut feeling that the Titans will aim up in this game. The West Tigers will really struggle in that match. I just reckon this game, in my prediction for that scoreline, I'm going to go with 22 points to 10 in that game, and I reckon the West Tigers will really struggle in that match against the Titans anyway. The next match of this game, we see the Cowboys going up against the Broncos. Now, in this match, the Broncos, they've been absolutely really consistent last week against the Titans. But in the first half, the Broncos were absolutely shocking in the first half, but I don't know how the hell in the second half they were absolutely really electrifying. But the Cowboys, though, last week, since they went up against the Warriors, the Cowboys were absolutely really good in the first half and the second half, but not that much that they only just lost by 4 points last week. But in that game, the Broncos, I just have a gut feeling in this match that it will be a very tight game. But since they've got really good players there, usually the Broncos haven't been really consistent so far in that game. But the Cowboys, though, they haven't been really consistent also too, but they're sitting on 12th position. They were sitting on 16th position. I just have a gut feeling in that game it will be a very tight game, and it will be a hard match anyway. But in this match, Murray Tuonalangi has been absolutely really electrifying, scoring 2 tries last week. So I reckon Scott Drinkwater will have a really good game because he's an absolute great player. I just think the Cowboys will really aim up in that defense, really have a good attack in that game. But I reckon the Broncos will be too good for the Cowboys in that match. Because since the Broncos are a really good team, I reckon that game will be a very hard scoring game, but it will be a tight match anyway. So in that match, I'm going to go with the Broncos by 8 points in that match, and I'm going to go with my prediction for that scoreline, 32-24 in that game to beat the Cowboys. The next game of that match, we see the Manly Seagulls going up against the Warriors. Now, in this game, since the Warriors have been really good last week, since they've just only beaten the Cowboys 24-20, I reckon, though, the Warriors, they are a really good team at the moment, but they just only electrify some of the players because they are a really good team. They've got really good players out there. I reckon Reece Walsh will have a really good season in that game also too. But I reckon, though, the Warriors are a really good team. They are a really good base team since they've got really good players out there. And that match, I reckon they will absolutely seal the deal in that game. But that's not to last. But since the Manly Seagulls, though, they are a really good team, I reckon Jason Subb will have a great match. So will Daly Cherry Evans in that game. But in this match, though, I'm going to go with the Manly Seagulls in this one. I'm going to go with them by 6 points in that game. And I just have a gut feeling in this match that it will be a very tight game. I just reckon the only one try will seal the deal, and I reckon the man of the match in that game, I reckon this game will be Jason Saab's man of the match in that match. My prediction though. But in that scoreline of that game, I'm going to go with 26 points to 20 in that match, and I'm going to go with the Manly Seagulls by 6 points in that game. I reckon Daly Cherry Evans will have a really good game, and so will Jason Saab. Morgan Harper will have a really good game, but that's not to last. But since they are a really good team, I just don't think that the Manly Seagulls will really struggle in that game, but it will be a very tight match anyway. But in that game, so far in that match, I just reckon the Manly Seagulls will have a really good game. So 26 points to 20 in that game, but the Manly Seagulls by 6 points anyway. And last but certainly not least, we see the Dragons going up against the Bulldogs. Now, in that game, I reckon it will be a very high-scoring game. Well, not very high-scoring game, sorry. I reckon it will be a very low-scoring game. Because the Bulldogs, though, since they're sitting on the last position, it's not going to be very easy for them if they're going to keep losing every single time. They've got really good players, though. Jake Averillo has been really good for their club. So has Dallin Watene-Selesniak. I haven't really seen Nick Meaney play footy really that much now. But it's only come to that point that the Bulldogs haven't been really consistent so far. I just think, though, that if they really aim up in their defence and their attack, they will do the job done. They'll get the job done. But that's not going to lie. That's not going to last for them if they keep losing every single game and sitting on 16th position, which the Wooden Spooners will be in that season. For the Dragons, though, since they haven't really been inconsistent lately, I know that they didn't have Adam Clune in that squad, which that means Ben Hunt was in that number 7 jersey. But Cody Ramsey, though, has been really a great player in that game. But I reckon he will get the job done in that match and really seal the deal for the Dragons anyway. So in that match, I'm going to go with the Dragons by 2 points in that game, and I reckon this game will be a very tight match. Since the Dragons haven't been really good so far, I just don't think the Dragons will really get that job done by that high-scoring game anyway. So in that match, for that scoreline, for my prediction, I'm going to go with 14 points to 12 in that game, and I just don't think the Bulldogs will only... I reckon the Bulldogs will only just lose in that game. But yeah, I reckon the Dragons will really get the job done in that game by 2 points anyway. Thanks guys for watching my video, guys. Stay tuned for more. We'll be doing a couple of videos coming to you guys soon. Also, I'll be doing more videos coming to you guys soon, so stay tuned for more. Plus, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and for this video, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Till then, take care, guys. Stay safe and have a good one. Plus, let's get up to 300 subscribers. We're sitting on 207 anyway, so let's get up to that, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Also, I will be doing Rabbitohs versus Storm vlog in that game, so I'll be going to that game. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time into that vlog very soon.